Clearly, we've lived a very different life over the last few months, and that isn't going to change in the coming months as we think about returning to work. Here are several ways in which our work environment is going to be changed, at least for the next year, if not forever. So the number one thing, and I think probably most people are aware, that remote work is something that will be encouraged. Many companies have already said that they're going to continue remote work well into the fall and maybe forever. And it's becoming an effective means. So not everyone will be rushing back. People that want to work from home will have that ability, but also just the ways in which we engage at work will slowly change. More virtual meetings, less business travel. We're still trying to reduce overall contacts and the spread of viruses. So even if maybe we're not sick, the reduction in those contacts will mean that we can slow the spread of virus in the fall. So overall, remote work and the ability to sort of reduce the numbers of people that were in physical contact. As much as we might be working from home, there'll still be an important role for people to come into work. There are plenty of places where we'll see people starting to reemerge back in their office, but in a new normal, because social distancing will be in play. That means, open floor plans might turn back into cubicles. We might be converting surfaces to ones that can be easily disinfected. People might be working in clusters so that, if somebody gets sick in the cluster, that doesn't mean the entire company is exposed. We're really going to be thinking about sort of the physical space and how it can contribute or sort of reduce exposures to coronavirus in the future. Clearly, there's going to be the things that the employers are going to do, but there's also going to be the things that the individuals are expected to do. Hand hygiene, potentially mask wearing, depending on the local context. Potentially, there'll be some enforcement of testing. There's going to be some really strict work from home policies if you have symptoms. I think there's going to be a lot of focus on keeping the workplace healthy. And I think it's going to be on the employee to really be dedicated to that and not, necessarily push themselves into a workplace when they are either sick or, haven't been taking the right precautions. The other view is that technology in the workplace is going to change dramatically. We've heard a lot about the ability to track people that might be infected, to identify people that might have had contact. So you can expect things like temperature scanners, apps that you can declare your symptoms or maybe whether you're immune. Contact tracing, we're seeing enterprises adopt, contact tracing tools, so apps that they'll put on your company-owned phone that will allow you to identify whether you may have been sort of in contact with someone else who's been sick. And so some of the same technologies we've seen deployed for essential workers throughout the course of this pandemic will be coming to your sort of jobs as well. The idea that, this work-life balance is really getting sort of a little bit grayed out because now, of course, we're working at home, we're mixing our personal lives. The line between work and personal is really not as clear anymore. So it's really going to be forcing employers to really think about the happiness of their employees in different ways. It's going to be really about adding benefits around mental health and stress reduction. It's also going to be changing the ways in which employers think about company culture and people keeping happy at work. But ultimately, this pandemic is going to create a lot of options for people. Those that have an easier time working from home will likely have that option, and those that want to go back in will likely have that option too. So it's going to create a lot more sort of options and hopefully greater happiness on the part of the employees.